on out there. There's a lot of things coming from the Hill that and members of Senate and the House who are making statements like benefits are getting cut, all these other things. That's just not true, Maria. That is that is the fear factor here that they're trying to do to make sure that I think to interfere with their idea that the bigger government is better. I believe a leaner, better government is what we need to look at.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for that.
Now that was a very short statement, but it's probably the most important one out of this entire video, Jason, is in case you're wondering, are veteran benefits getting cut? That answer is objectively no. We see the VA secretary. He also posted another video on his Twitter, which, by the way, I'm going to say X, which, by the way, I was not an X fan at all. But if that's how this administration is going to pass primary source information, I made an X account. I followed Doug Collins, and apparently that's how we get our news now, which I'm fine with. He made a video pretty much saying what he just said here, just in a minute and a half. And I'll say it like this. Are veteran benefits getting cut? The answer is no. And if the VA secretary said anything else other than what he just said, I would be concerned, right? And so I'm actually really glad. Complete opposite flip-flop from the employee thing, okay? Employee thing, not at all. Honestly, someone needs to do something about that. This case, 100% I'm on board. Lean government. Look at contracts, okay? Government contracts are absolutely insane. I cannot wait to see what is released on what we're spending money on. Some of it's already been coming out and has been pretty insane. And I'm going to be focused on VA contracts specifically. You know, last week, Jason, you had joked about we're paying. This was an analogy. This was not fact. Jason said, $800,000 contract for napkins. What's funny is that's really in the realm of possibility. Like, that should not even be a thought. And I'm actually expecting some $100,000 napkins. They better be made out of gold and given to veterans instead of, critical skill incentives, if you will. That was a slight joke there. That's my thoughts on that. It's definitely the most important part of this whole thing. What do you got, Jason, on veteran benefits going away?
Yeah. He did do his direct video to veterans addressing the possibility of veterans benefits being cut. And yes, he directly comes out and says they will not. Because he's coming directly out and saying it won't happen, I personally believe it. He's not dancing around it. He's not ignoring it. He's not playing the political game. So if in fact they do ever get cut, he's going to have major impacts. And that from his congressional and even his theological background, you don't want to have something so blatant that you get that egg on your face. You want to be able to be trustworthy in that way. And, he never said anything about cutting employees. He never said all of our employees are safe. Never said it, right? So therefore, that is a possibility. And look what happened, right? So what he did say was veterans will not be impacted. So let's focus in on the ones that are not going to directly impact the veterans, right? So, I did a video where I basically did his message, his 2-minute message or whatever it was. The one thing that I will say, much like this interview, that I do like is it is not really scripted or rehearsed. It doesn't feel that way at all. His little minute and 45-second or whatever video that he did out to veterans was obviously not, there wasn't much thought into preparing for it. It was like, here's a bunch of concerns. You need to address it. Let's do it. Let me find a spot to sit. You got the camera? Let's go. Was the feel that I had to it. He's like, hey, it's Doug here. How's it going? Right. Which was good because there is a genuine feeling to it. And I hope that continues. My number one worry, my number one thing is veterans are not impacted. Veterans, spouses, dependents, survivors, caregivers are not negatively impacted in any way. Period. That's my number one concern. Everything else is second to that. So I think that I think so far, I mean, you could try to draw some lines to things. Well, we lost 1,000 employees. That's going to impact veterans. It's less than 0.25%. And when you take that across the nation, and like you said, I mean, that's somebody that was sweeping the floor. It's somebody who was a recruiter for, it was a recruiter for the diversity and inclusion department. Well, if there's no diversity and inclusion department, well, then there's no recruiter for that. So you can't have a recruiter for that. So all of that type of stuff, right? So so far so good. Still on alert, making sure, watching, being aware, I think is what we need to be, and voice any concerns that you have, right? Everybody has different concern levels, right? Some have zero concern, and some are just completely wigged down. I mean, 100% plus concern. Wherever you fall, if you feel as though you need to have that conversation with your congressional member, reach out, let them know. I'm telling you right now that quiet mouths don't get fed. So if you're concerned, reach out to your congressional member and let them know that you want to make sure that they will do everything they can do in order to preserve and protect our earned benefits. And I would say, if you're that person who wants to do that, do it. 2, reach out to your congressional member, your Senate member, so on the House, the Senate, and then reach out to the chairman of the veterans committees on both the House and the Senate side as well. Write one letter, mail it out to 4 people. That's what I would do. So back to you, Clay.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say on this, and I think it's a testament that people will complain about anything, myself included. When someone dances around a question, whenever they're asked on the news, especially in Congress, it makes most people mad. In fact, I don't know anyone that would not upset.
Right.
And then when someone answers the question, it could not be more direct answer. This is actually his second time saying it, right? Because he already said it once in a video. Right. That's what we want to see, but yet people will complain about his answer. And it's just a testament that people will complain.
Yeah.